Tonight on NewsWatch, how health care is hurting the Obama administration. A look at the latest drop in the president's approval rating. Plus, cleaning up after those Midwest tornadoes, how churches are stepping up to serve their communities. And young women are tricked and then trafficked as bride slaves. We'll show you where. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin. Our top story tonight, a majority of Americans disapprove of President Obama's job performance and his health care law. A new ABC News Washington Post poll found the president's approval rating dropped 6 points in 1 month. By some measures, it's considered the lowest point of his presidency. Once again, here's tonight's top story. The bungled rollout of Obamacare and broken promises that Americans could keep their insurance are taking a toll on President Obama's popularity. A new ABC News Washington Post poll puts his approval rating at just 42%. 55% disapprove, a new record high for his presidency. 47% see him as honest and trustworthy. 56% disapprove of his handling of the Obamacare rollout. It also shows Mitt Romney would be leading the president 49-45 if the 2012 race was held today. The White House has a November 30th deadline to have the site functioning for 80% of users. However, that still means problems for people trying to get coverage. Republicans say the damage is already done.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing from my constituents. They're writing me about cancellation notices of plans they wanted to keep, rising premiums.
The number of Americans opposing the Health Care Act jumped 8 points in 1 month, now at 57%.
It's just one more reason why this health care law needs to be scrapped now.
The consulting firm of McKinsey & Company warned the White House about the risks facing the website and its call centers as early as March. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius was included on that briefing.
How can the public trust a hastily thrown together system in which meeting a deadline was more important for the administration than conducting complete end-to-end testing?
The poll also shows Americans are not just upset with the president and Obamacare. 7 out of 10 say the country is on the wrong track, the highest level in 2 years. For more on this, we turn now to Penny Nance. She is the CEO and president of Concerned Women for America. Penny, can the president do anything at this point short of scrapping the entire health care law to regain his credibility?
You know, Mark, it's really amazing the shift we've seen. Women carried the president to victory, but now because of this, they've lost faith in him. And we're seeing 51% of women say that he's not doing a good job. And it's a disgrace. We knew that this was going to be a problem. We knew that when you take away the market forces and the government grabs a sixth of our economy, that there's going to be huge problems. But I'm not sure anyone saw just the level of issues that are surrounding this. You know, I think that Ted Cruz has been vindicated, and you know, we all should have said more even perhaps than we did. But at this point, I think the president has two choices. He can own the fact that this is absolutely not working, backpedal, and go and try to apply a market-based approach that fixes the real issues that are involved in the nation's health care, instead of letting the government, big government, take over and create the loss of jobs and people having to double and sometimes triple the cost of their health care.
Penny, they promised the website will be back up and functioning at almost full capacity by the end of the month. Do you think that's likely?
You know, I don't even think it matters. This is not just about the website. I think eventually the website will be fixed. Maybe not completely fixed, but it will be better. The issue here at stake is the principle. We have let the government take over a sixth of our economy, and they can't do it right. We're seeing that the market isn't working, and the other shoe that's going to drop is the fact that employer-based health care is going to go awry. That remember the employer mandate was put off off for a year. So towards the end of 2014, we're going to see the exact same thing happening. Prices shooting up, employers canceling their policies that we're seeing right now on the individual market. So people are talking about the website. The website's really kind of down the road and down the list of the biggest issues. Yeah, they're going to fix it, but it's still, the system is broken.
All right, quickly, Penny, how do you think this is going to affect Democrats in the 2014 election?
Oh, I think it's already affecting them. I mean, that's a long way off. Things change, but right now we're seeing in states like North Carolina, Arkansas, West Virginia, people running. They know that this is a loser for them, even though they voted for it. People like Kay Hagan and Mark Pryor in Arkansas, Joe Manchin in West Virginia, Mary Landrieu in Louisiana voted for this bill, fully supported, fought for it, and now they have buyer's remorse, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Penny Nance, as always, thanks
you
for your insights.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it. A historic vote on abortion in Albuquerque, New Mexico today. Voters will decide whether to ban late-term abortions. The referendum is believed to be the first municipal vote on abortion in the country and could become a new strategy in the battle over life. It would also have a major impact in New Mexico. The only two late-term abortion clinics in the state are located in Albuquerque. Cleanup efforts continue today after a series of deadly tornadoes and powerful storms wreaked havoc on the Midwest. At least 8 people were killed and thousands are now homeless. But as Charlene Israel reports, it could have been much worse.
The late season outbreak of tornadoes and powerful storms stretched across 12 states. Now residents are picking through the remains of their homes.
Every minute I turn around, I'm crying. I don't know. I don't have a house.
This is the deadliest series of tornadoes Illinois has ever had in the month of November.
Illinois was the hardest hit, but officials there say things could have been much worse. Entire neighborhoods were flattened, but the death toll remains low. Television and radio warnings combined with text message alerts and storm sirens alerted many people to the storms ahead of time. But residents of some of the hardest hit areas say there was another factor that contributed to the relatively low death toll. Many families were at church. In Washington, Illinois, services were just getting started at Crossroads Methodist Church when the tornado warnings came over their cell phones by text.
We booked everybody into our shelters and kind of bunkered down. We had some ladies who were singing and we had some people praying. And at about 11:15, heard a rumble and they say a freight train sound, and I heard that freight train sound, and literally the tornado was 300 yards from the outside of our church and kind of just passed us by.
30 families from the church lost their homes, but so far no deaths or major injuries. Now the church is looking to rebuild its community by providing temporary shelter and stocking up on bottled water, canned foods, and other staples to give away to those in need.
We're from here. We're in the middle of it. I mean, we're gonna stick it out. We'll rebuild. We'll care. We'll love. If maybe they never stepped in this door, but to get a meal, at least they know that we believe in God who cares and loves for anybody.
CBN's Operation Blessing has an advanced team on the ground in Washington, Illinois, assessing needs and making plans to help the devastated community.
Operation Blessing is going to be networking with these pastors and church leaders, as well as local emergency management, to see how we can provide the churches with cash grants and cleanup supplies, and work with the local emergency management to see what we can do to help with volunteer coordination if that's needed.
Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Newly classified documents show the National Security Agency willfully defied court rules with its surveillance programs. According to court records, the NSA reported its own violations in 2009 and acknowledged it had collected material improperly. Agency leaders then promised they would take additional safety steps to prevent it from happening again. Some key supporters of immigration reform say it will pass, despite House Speaker John Boehner saying he won't take action this year. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is predicting a bill in the spring, and Hispanic evangelical leader Samuel Rodriguez says momentum is growing.
Evangelical churches, more pastors, more key Christian leaders are more committed to immigration reform today than ever before. So what I see is a bit of, let's just say, political maneuvering on behalf of Congress on the issue of immigration reform, but the inevitability of immigration reform passing, it's a done deal.
Rodriguez and other Hispanic evangelical leaders are in Washington, D.C. this week for a summit on social justice issues like the right to life, poverty, and immigration reform. Turning overseas, 2 suicide bombings kill at least 23 and injure more than 140 people in Lebanon. The deadly blast happened near the Iranian embassy in Beirut. The Iranian cultural attaché is said to be among the dead. An al-Qaeda-linked extremist group is claiming responsibility. The group says more attacks will follow unless Hezbollah withdraws its support of Syrian President Bashar Assad's regime. Iran is a main supporter of Hezbollah. Meanwhile, in Iran, Pastor Saeed Abedini was allowed a family visit for the first time since his transfer to Raja Shah prison. The American Center for Law and Justice says this is a positive sign and that international pressure is working to keep Pastor Saeed alive. Since his sudden transfer to this different and more dangerous prison, Pastor Saeed has been denied his medicine. Last week, the U.S. Senate unanimously passed a bipartisan resolution calling for his release. A similar resolution is pending in the House of Representatives. Millions of Christians around the world are praying for the peace of Jerusalem, but there's also a prayer movement going on in the city itself. As Chris Mitchell shows us, Christians from India recently dedicated a prayer center in the heart of Jerusalem.
We dedicate the Israel Prayer Tower for the glory of God to touch the nations of the world and Israel.
Several years ago, Dr. Paul Denakaran decided to establish the Israel Prayer Tower in Jerusalem.
My heart is overwhelmed with joy, and I say, thank you, Jesus. You love me for the word that you have given me for the nations of the world.
One of the main goals is specific prayer for the nations of the world.
To pray for the peoples, for them to receive the gospel, and the nations, for the people to receive solutions to the problems of humanity in each nation.
Some see this as a fulfillment of prophecy.
There's no other city on the planet that God commands to pray for its peace but Jerusalem. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, Psalm 122. And we're seeing that come to pass. Nations are coming up to Jerusalem as prophesied in Zechariah. And I believe that when God is about to do something big, He prepares a great army of intercessors to partner with Him to bring His purposes about. So that gives me a lot of excitement about what's happening. And as we see people from India, people from all over the world now coming up to pray.
This prayer center is one of several in the city. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, a sequel 14 years in the making. How this best man faces a test of faith.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride, on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
What would you do in a medical emergency?
This is Life Alert. Are you okay?
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm calling for help right now.
Fire emergency.
Sharon, we received a smoke signal coming from your kitchen. Get out now. We're calling the fire department.
Home intrusion. Emergencies away from home.
I think someone may be following me.
I'm right here and we'll stay on the line with you and we can contact the police if necessary.
If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Life Alert saves a life from a catastrophe every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-524-5236.
That's 1-800-524-5236. Call now at 1-800-524-5236 to get a free brochure. 1-800-524-5236. 1-800-524-5236.
Welcome back. The sequel to a hit film from 1999 is just now hitting theaters. It's called The Best Man Holiday. And while some bad language makes this film a little less than family-friendly, critics say it still displays a real celebration of faith in the midst of adversity. Ephraim Graham reports.
It's taken 14 years. For writer and director Malcolm Lee to reunite the all-star cast of The Best Man for its sequel, The Best Man Holiday. Why such a long wait between the first and the second?
I'm a very slow writer. No, the truth of the matter is, there was talk of doing a sequel, from the first movie. And it was my first movie, so I didn't want to, be pigeonholed or tell the same story, because that's what it would have been.
Lee wanted to wait, give himself time to tell a more complicated story, and give his characters time to grow. There's Robin, played by Sanaa Lathan.
She's about to be a mom, which is a big step for them.
Tay Diggs plays the role of Robin's husband, Harper.
Harper is committed, but still confused and stressed.
He is stressed. He really is.
Jordan, I have Brian here.
He's here?
Is that a work thing?
And Nia Long plays Jordan, a single high-powered television executive learning difficult lessons in life and love.
It's so much sweeter when you have a partner, even if he gets on your nerves at times. Take a deep breath. Which he will, because love is hard and relationships are hard.
That's what we do.
You can't, God created it this way for a reason. Man, women, family.
Robin, stop it. I'm just saying, Jordan's good people. You should get to know her.
The film is a bit of a roller coaster.
When I read the script, it really did tug at the heartstrings.
Morris Chestnut plays NFL player Lance Sullivan, whose motto is God, family, and football. And the role wasn't a huge stretch.
I grew up in a family going to the Baptist church, and I was in the church for a long time, so I definitely can draw on my past experiences for that.
Much like the first film, Lance is unshaken by the adversity surrounding him.
Where does that come from for you, that whole dynamic of struggling with faith in the midst of some serious adversity?
I think that many people struggle with their faith, depending on their circumstances. It's a very real and authentic thing that happens with people.
And while Lee's other characters do struggle, wondering where is God in all of this, the answers do eventually come. Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
The film finished a strong number 2 at the box office this weekend, bringing in more than $30 million. Up next, how North Korean women are being targeted by sex traffickers.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
In North Korea, thousands of women run away from a brutal life in their home country looking for freedom. Human smugglers promise them food, money, and a better future. But instead, many of them have ended up as sex slaves in China. George Thomas has that tragic story from the North Korean border.
This is probably the closest I'll ever get to North Korea. Less than a mile away, you can see on top of that mountain, North Korean soldiers watching probably our every move. The statistics show that the overwhelming majority of North Koreans who defect are women. Secondly, the majority of them are being trafficked into China.
They try to escape from their captors, but they get caught. The women are beaten over and over again. Often they get locked up in a room for days.
Kang Soo-jin has hours of tape to prove it. Since 2006, she's interviewed dozens and dozens of women who escaped from North Korea only to find themselves caught in a bride trafficking web. It all happens here, where northern China meets the border of North Korea.
These women are starving in North Korea, so they escape to China in search of food. Once they get to China, they're in a new place. They don't know the language, they have no friends, and they don't know the environment. That's when the smugglers get a hold of them.
Here, she's interviewing a 20-year-old North Korean defector.
같이 사면 뭐 이런 것도 몰랐거든요. 나보고 같이 살라는 거예요. 그 방을 내주면서 그렇게 나면 안 산다고.
Kang says young female North Koreans have become a commodity for countries like China.
그걸 통해서 그 사람들이 중국에다가 중국 사람들 연결해서 팔아먹는 거예요. 우리는. 팔아먹고 몇 명이 한 사람당 얼마씩 받아서 자기는 가지고 나가고. 가지고 나가고 우리 그냥 못 없이 그냥 그 사람들 또 쫓아서 가. 우리가 그냥.
China's centuries-old preference for boys, coupled with the millions of aborted female fetuses, has resulted in a huge gender imbalance. For example, in one area of northeast China, the male-to-female ratio is estimated to be 14-1. In other parts of China, there are villages that literally have no women, driving demand for so-called North Korean bride slaves.
그러는 걸 내가 깎고 해서 7천에 너를 사가지고 오니까 너 우리 집에 가서 달아날 생각하지 말라고. 나를 그렇게 돈 주고 팔았다고 생각하니까.
The UN says nearly 2/3 of the thousands of North Korean refugees hiding in China are women. 80% of them are trafficked into marriages. International law says women escaping North Korea are considered refugees, but China regularly deports them. So these women face constant threats of arrest and deportation at the hands of their traffickers.
근데 또 5월달에 성풀이 불더라고 뭐 나자마냐 간다는. 그래서 깊은 산골에 가서 천막을 쳤어요.
Kang knows what it's like to be caught in this web of misery. She's from Pyongyang, North Korea. In 2002, she made a run for China.
I had a forced marriage in China. I managed to escape from that, but got caught by authorities and was sent back to North Korea, where I was tortured by prison guards. With the help of some contacts, I escaped the prison camp and made it here to South Korea via Thailand.
6 years ago, she started the Coalition for North Korean Women's Rights to help other North Korean survivors of trafficking.
I wanted to help these women who have no voice, no one to speak out on their behalf.
And once they defect, life in China or here in Seoul, South Korea, is not easy. In fact, many North Korean defectors find it very challenging adjusting to their life in the new settings. So the South Korean government has devoted significant resources to helping defectors make the adjustment by providing them with housing, medical services, and education. Meanwhile, Kang's group focuses on building skill sets.
Part of the coalition's goal is to provide these women with a steady source of income. The women begin in this room doing small sewing projects. Once they've mastered the skill, they move to the next room and work on bigger projects. This is our way to help them rebuild their lives.
And more defectors are coming. In the last 10 years, 23,000 North Korean refugees reached South Korea. 7 out of 10 are women. Meanwhile, North Korea is trying to stop them. Since the death of Kim Jong-il, the North has reportedly stepped up patrols along its border with China. Soldiers have orders to shoot anyone trying to sneak into or out of North Korea. George Thomas, CBN News, along the North-South Korean border.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Today marks the 150th anniversary of the Gettysburg Address. President Abraham Lincoln made the speech when he dedicated the cemetery at the Gettysburg battlefield 4 months after the battle many believe decided the fate of the Civil War. Historians and thousands of Americans are gathering today in that Pennsylvania town to commemorate the speech that not only marked Lincoln's presidency, but the history of this nation. More than 200,000 people visited Gettysburg this year around the battle's anniversary in July. The ceremony was streamed live to 90,000 colleges, schools, libraries, and museums nationwide. An incredibly important speech. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.